Are you constantly pushing forward, quietly, consistently, yet feel like the world rarely stops to truly see your effort? Acknowledge the weight you carry. Do you ever find yourself pausing, wondering if all this relentless striving is truly worth it, teetering on that thin line between perseverance and giving up? If this resonates with you, if you're seeking to ignite that deep, quiet strength that's always been within, waiting for its moment, then this message is for you. In the relentless pace of modern life, it's easy to feel caught in a current, pulled in countless directions by demands, expectations, and an endless stream of information. You might be excelling in your career, navigating complex family dynamics, or simply trying to carve out a meaningful existence amidst the chaos. But beneath it all, do you sense a subtle erosion of your personal bandwidth, a diminishing focus on what truly matters to you? It's time to reclaim that focus. Life, your 30s and 40s, brings a unique set of challenges and opportunities. You're likely juggling more responsibilities than ever, perhaps building a family, advancing a career, or caring for aging parents. With these increased stakes often comes a feeling of being stretched thin, a quiet exhaustion from always striving to prove yourself. What if the secret to enduring, to thriving, isn't about doing more, but about focusing inward with unshakable discipline? Welcome to StoicCraft, where we explore timeless philosophies for modern living. Today, we're diving deep into Stoicism, an ancient philosophy that guided warriors, emperors, and everyday individuals through immense pain, pressure, and isolation. It wasn't about loud rebellion or dramatic gestures, but about cultivating an unshakable focus on the one thing we can truly control, ourselves. Today, you will learn how to stand tall, centered, and resilient, even when everything around you seems to be shifting. You won't need external validation, applause, or anyone's belief. You just need one fundamental commitment: to focus on you until you win. Chapter 1. The Power of Inner Discipline, Building Your Foundation. Brick by brick. I once heard a story from a retired Special Forces soldier. Every morning he meticulously folded his blanket with military precision, corners sharp, lines perfect, as if preparing for a rigorous inspection, even though no one was there to observe. When asked why he adhered to this routine so strictly, his answer was profound in its simplicity: because that's who I am. It wasn't about external command or seeking recognition. It was about guarding his inner discipline, a commitment to excellence for its own sake. This encapsulates the essence of our first lesson. Commit every single day to building the strongest, most authentic version of yourself. Do it not for anyone else's approval, but purely for you. Stoicism is far more than a philosophy for intellectual debate. It is a practical guide for the dusty, exhausting, and often lonely days that define real life. Marcus Aurelius, an emperor and a warrior, once penned a powerful truth in his Meditations: be tolerant with others and strict with yourself. This principle, tolerance for the complexities of the world, disciplined self-governance for your inner realm, formed the twin pillars that kept him steady through the chaos of battlefields and the intricate power struggles of courtrooms. The crucial question we must ask ourselves is, can you truly hold yourself to a higher standard when no one is watching? Each morning presents a choice, a silent vote, not for some distant, vague future, but for the person you are actively choosing to become today. When you initiate your day with a simple, deliberate ritual, perhaps 5 minutes of quiet meditation, followed by jotting down your top 3 priorities, you are sending a clear, unequivocal message to yourself. I am responsible for how I live this day. This isn't a burdensome chore. It's a profound act of reclaiming control from the myriad distractions that constantly vie for your attention, emotional impulses, the incessant buzz of your phone, and the invisible hum of worries. A morning ritual, no matter how brief, serves as your unwavering anchor in the stormy seas of daily chaos. From a behavioral science perspective, rituals are incredibly potent, not merely because of their specific components, but because of their consistent repetition at the same time each day. The human brain thrives on patterns, especially when these patterns are firmly anchored to fixed points within your daily routine. This is precisely why a technique known as habit stacking proves so remarkably effective. You intentionally attach a new habit to an existing one you already perform automatically. For instance, if you brew coffee every morning, let that action be your cue, your natural trigger, to then sit down and clearly articulate your goals for the day. When a new habit is seamlessly tied to an automatic one, it transcends being a struggle. It simply flows. You don't need to enact dramatic, sweeping changes to construct a profoundly meaningful life. Instead, think of yourself as a diligent bricklayer. Every single day, you methodically add one more brick to the formidable fortress you are diligently building for yourself. Perhaps it's reading one insightful article, completing one focused workout, or engaging in one truly deep, meaningful conversation. Brick by brick, day after day, you will eventually look up and realize you have constructed something immensely powerful and enduring. Have you ever seriously considered the transformative impact of getting just 1% better each day, consistently for 70 days? The astonishing answer is that you would effectively double your ability. This isn't mere wishful thinking. It's a mathematical reality, a testament to the cumulative power of small, consistent improvements. In a world obsessed with speed, instant gratification, and constant external validation, the true measure of character lies in who you are on the days when no one is applauding. No one observes when you choose to forego a social gathering to immerse yourself in a book, or when you opt for grilled chicken over fried food. Yet it is in those silent, unobserved moments, in the quiet dedication to your principles, that real, unshakable strength is forged. So I pose this question to you. Can you maintain your discipline when there's no immediate reward, no fanfare, no congratulatory message? Can you diligently log your small, incremental wins in a private journal without feeling the need for external praise? A well-designed self-reward system where each tick mark on your checklist feels like an internal badge of honor does far more than merely motivate. It actively trains you to cultivate pride from within, a deep satisfaction that originates from your own integrity rather than relying on fleeting applause from others. If you are looking to concretely track your progress and gain clarity, consider creating a personal KPI dashboard. This doesn't have to be complex. It could be a simple spreadsheet or even a dedicated section in your journal. Track metrics that are meaningful to your growth: hours spent reading, number of workout sessions completed, consistent journal entries, or even your average sleep duration. Each night, take a few moments to compare your daily actions against your intentions. The purpose of this exercise isn't to judge or shame yourself, but rather to observe and adjust your course with precision. Think of it like a pilot's dashboard. Without these vital instruments, you are essentially flying blind, drifting without a clear sense of direction. And no one truly wants to live like a lost plane, aimlessly circling. Crucially, you simply cannot afford to ignore your physical well-being. A clear, resilient mind demands a body that is capable of enduring life's stresses and demands. Exercise is not merely for aesthetics. It is a powerful, indispensable tool for emotional regulation, a natural source of dopamine, and a fundamental pathway to building profound resilience. A straightforward routine, perhaps 3 to 4 sessions per week, rotating between cardiovascular activity, strength training, and stretching, is more than sufficient. The critical question isn't about discovering the perfect workout. It's about identifying the one you will consistently adhere to, long enough to truly witness tangible, lasting results. The same steadfast principle applies to your diet. Instead of radical, unsustainable overhauls, gradually reduce refined sugars, deep-fried foods, and sugary sodas. Incrementally increase your intake of lean protein, fresh vegetables, and nutrient-dense whole foods. Shift gradually, steadily, much like a stoic calmly navigating a storm without flinching or losing their composure. Here's the curious paradox that often emerges as your life becomes more intentional. You might find yourself feeling a peculiar emptiness, a sense of quiet frustration when immediate results don't manifest. In those moments when doubt inevitably creeps in, do not, under any circumstances, betray your progress by doubting yourself. Always remember this fundamental truth: the process never betrays you. Dedicated athletes don't abandon their rigorous training regimens simply because they can't perceive immediate muscle growth or a new personal best on a given day. You are no different. You must cultivate the profound trust in the system you have painstakingly built, much in the same way a seasoned farmer places unwavering trust in the immutable cycles of the seasons. You wouldn't cease watering your crops merely because the sun is shining, would you? In the U.S. military, there's a powerful, almost philosophical saying, "Embrace the suck." It's a stark, direct command to learn to welcome discomfort, not just tolerate it. Discomfort in this context is not an option. It is absolutely essential for growth. While that might sound extreme to some, to a Stoic, it is simply normal, an undeniable truth of meaningful existence. Stoicism does not chase fleeting comfort. It seeks enduring capability and unshakable resilience. Therefore, do not run from difficulty. Do not idly wait for a surge of motivation. Instead, act decisively from principle, from a deep-seated commitment to your values, rather than being swayed by transient moods or fleeting emotions. When you consistently live in this manner, prioritizing discipline over emotional whims, placing your deeply held values above mere convenience, you will cease wishing for an easier world. You will simply become stronger, more capable. And one day, when you look back at the path you've traversed, even you will be genuinely surprised by how far you've come simply by taking small, consistent steps every single day without needing or seeking external applause. And when someone inevitably asks you what your secret is, You won't speak of luck or innate talent. You'll simply offer a knowing smile and echo the timeless wisdom of Marcus Aurelius. Be tolerant with others and strict with yourself. So, what is your immediate next step? It's strikingly simple, yet profoundly impactful. Set your morning schedule. Commit to waking up just 30 minutes earlier than usual. Get a dedicated notebook. And most importantly, write down your top 3 tasks for the day. Keep it concise, focused. Don't do it for the likes on social media. Do it to meticulously lay your own unshakable foundation, one brick at a time. It won't be flashy, but it will be consistent, like the steady rhythm of your breath, like the dependable arrival of the sunrise. Consistency is the silent architect of victory, because ultimate victory doesn't belong to the loudest in the crowd. It belongs to the one who stays the course, who persists when the crowd has long given up. And that person, without a doubt, can be you, if you choose to stay resolutely locked in every single day until you win. Mastering your inner world, ignoring the noise even after you've diligently built your inner fortress. External noise will inevitably come. Criticism, overwhelming expectations, harsh judgments, they will arrive like arrows fired at your carefully constructed walls. The critical question then becomes, how do you hold your ground? The answer lies in our next vital lesson. You must train your mind to steadfastly ignore the noise, because sometimes silence is the most resounding victory of all. Imagine a quiet Monday morning. You unlock your phone, and instantly you're hit by a digital tidal wave, a cascade of social media notifications, urgent work group chats, sensationalized news headlines, and the meticulously curated perfection of someone else's seemingly flawless life. You had a clear plan. Wake early, engage in some exercise, and calmly map out your day in peace. But now your mind has been hijacked, inundated by a relentless flood of noise you never explicitly invited. The most precious commodity you've lost is focus. And without true focus, how can you genuinely conquer yourself, let alone navigate the complexities of the world around you? The real danger isn't that you lack goals or ambition. It's that you are constantly being pulled away from those aspirations by things that feel undeniably urgent in the moment, but are, in the grand scheme of things, utterly irrelevant to your true progress. In this digital age, noise isn't just the clamor of traffic, the chatter of crowded spaces, or the hum of machinery. It's the unsolicited opinion of a stranger about your choices. It's the insidious creeping self-doubt triggered by the apparent success of someone else. It's procrastination cleverly disguised as the seemingly innocuous need to just stay updated. In Stoic philosophy, we are not afraid of chaos or external disturbances. We simply practice a fundamental separation, distinguishing what is truly ours, within our control, from what is not. If something does not genuinely serve your core purpose, it is, by definition, noise. Marcus Aurelius articulated this profound truth with remarkable clarity. Ask yourself at every moment, is this necessary? That single, honest question has the power to slice through the thickest clutter, ruthlessly exposing all the insidious elements that quietly, relentlessly drain your precious time and finite willpower. Focusing on yourself isn't a selfish act. In Stoicism, it is arguably the highest demonstration of strength, mastering your own mind. The Stoics wisely taught that if you fail to consciously control your own thoughts and attention, someone else will inevitably do it for you, not through violence or coercion, but simply through the pervasive power of noise. And noise, in this context, is anything that does not actively move you closer to where you genuinely want to be. It could manifest as a meandering conversation that goes nowhere, a social media post that leaves you questioning your worth, or a fleeting trend you desperately chase out of a subconscious fear of being left behind. Noise doesn't have to be overtly loud to be damaging. It simply needs to be constant, and it silently, effectively kills focus. Modern psychology echoes this ancient wisdom. A groundbreaking neuroscience study revealed that after each external interruption, the human brain requires at least 23 minutes to fully return to its peak state of concentrated focus. Consider the implications. Just 10 interruptions in a single day could mean nearly 4 hours lost, simply in the arduous process of trying to regain your mental footing. But even worse than lost productivity is the deeper, more subtle cost. These constant interruptions gradually chip away at your sense of internal coherence, that vital feeling of living in authentic alignment with your deepest self. And if you lose that feeling frequently enough, you will inevitably begin to drift through life, increasingly unsure of your true direction. Experienced military leaders don't just train soldiers for physical strength. They meticulously train them for unshakable focus. On the battlefield, explosions, screams, and utter chaos are an undeniable given. Yet elite soldiers learn to prevent that external noise from penetrating their minds. They are rigorously trained to identify the crucial command and unflinchingly ignore the rest. The same principle applies directly to our modern lives. You can't realistically eliminate all distractions, but you can and must learn to ignore them. Not by engaging in a futile battle against everything, but by possessing a crystal clear understanding of what genuinely belongs to your path and what absolutely does not. One remarkably powerful method for achieving this is called the goal filtering grid. Visualize a 3-tiered mental filter. The top layer represents your overarching, long-term goals. Perhaps starting a thriving business, writing a compelling book, or consistently maintaining optimal health. The middle layer houses your mid-term objectives, diligently building transformative habits, acquiring valuable new skills. And the bottom layer contains your day-to-day tasks. The rule is simple yet profound. Anything that does not successfully pass through all 3 of these filters, anything that doesn't directly contribute to your long-term vision, must be ruthlessly dropped. If it doesn't help you write, don't consume it. If it doesn't help you build, don't read it. If it doesn't genuinely make you stronger, wiser, or more aligned with your purpose, do not waste a single iota of your precious energy on it. Ironically, many of the most profoundly successful individuals remain largely invisible online. They don't engage in ostentatious flaunting. They genuinely don't concern themselves with the fleeting opinions of others. Instead, they are quietly, diligently building. They possess an innate understanding that attention is the most valuable, non-renewable asset in today's economy, and no one else has the inherent right to dictate how they spend it. One highly successful startup founder once shared, "I disconnect from the internet every morning until 11 a.m. During that crucial period, I simply didn't exist to anyone but my work." My company's growth tripled after I learned the discipline of disappearing each morning. Extreme, perhaps, but sometimes such an extreme commitment is precisely what true freedom demands. From a Stoic perspective, freedom isn't the unbridled ability to do whatever you want. Rather, it is the profound liberation from being perpetually ruled by what you don't genuinely need. You do not need universal approval to thrive. You don't need to slavishly keep up with every breaking headline or trending topic. You certainly don't need to possess a definitive take on every complex issue that arises. What you truly need, what is fundamentally essential, is a mind that is clear, steady, and unburdened by unnecessary external stimuli. Try this practical exercise. Make a comprehensive list of 10 things that significantly distracted you last week. Now, with brutal honesty, cross out every single item that did not genuinely contribute to making you a better, more focused person. If that list remains disturbingly long, it's a clear indication that someone or something else is effectively running your day without your explicit permission or conscious intent. To fortify your mind against this incessant assault of noise, train it with a stillness checklist comprising 5 essential questions. Before you instinctively react, before you act on autopilot, pause and ask yourself, does this move me closer to my ultimate goal? Is this genuinely my responsibility to address? Does this interaction or activity give me energy or drain it? Is this truly necessary for me to engage with today? If I choose not to react, what is the absolute worst that could realistically happen? A strong, disciplined mind is not one that knows everything. It is one that profoundly knows what to confidently ignore. Try one more simple, yet powerful tactic. Dedicate 25 minutes each morning to one single focused task. During this time, eliminate all distractions. No phone, no music, no extra browser tabs. Just you and that one task. Then allow yourself a 5-minute rest. Repeat this cycle 3 times. This is the combat cycle of a mental warrior, not massive, but consistently effective. Each time you engage in this practice, you are not merely completing a task. You are actively forging a new layer of resilience, a new layer of steel in your willpower. You will inevitably realize that when you cease pouring your precious energy into things that genuinely don't matter, you gain far more than just time. You gain profound belief in your own capabilities. You begin to tangibly see that you possess the inner capacity to get things done consistently and effectively. Every task completed, no matter how small or seemingly insignificant, serves as concrete proof that you are firmly in control of your own direction. And that empowering feeling, that profound sense of agency, is an inexhaustible source of fuel for your journey. Looking back, you will clearly recognize that your profound success didn't originate from one single dramatic big moment. Rather, it accumulated from hundreds of quiet, undistracted mornings where you resolutely refused to be pulled off course. It came from the countless times you intentionally silenced notifications, stoically ignored critics, and consciously chose not to chase the fleeting validation of the crowd. You deliberately chose to focus. You chose yourself. And in doing so, you moved incrementally closer to your victory, not because others saw it or applauded it, but because you, deep within your own being, knew it to be true. Because here's the undeniable truth. You don't need a cheering crowd to succeed. You just need one singular reason, strong and unwavering enough not to quit. And that powerful reason will never come from the outside. It resides deep inside you, in a sanctuary where external noise cannot possibly reach, unless you, of your own volition, invite it in. Think back to the last time you experienced a state of complete, undistracted focus. No lingering doubts, no hesitation, just pure, unadulterated engagement. How did that feel? Perhaps like you were fully alive, completely present, as if everything was precisely where it needed to be. That wasn't mere luck. That was a profound state of being that you possess the inherent capacity to create every single day. But it demands a conscious choice. Choose silence over the clamor of noise, choose profound depth over superficial distraction, and courageously choose your own unique path. Even if, for a time, no one else is walking alongside you. Focus on yourself until you win. No one else can or will do this foundational work for you. And when you truly master this internal alignment, you are not merely building discipline. You are living with profound intention, embodying the very ideal of Stoicism, to live by reason and thoughtful action, not by chaotic reaction. Eventually, you will come to a profound realization. This entire journey is, in essence, a continuous battle. But it is not a battle against the external world. It is a formidable battle against doubt, against distraction, and against your own inner confusion. And if you can conquer these formidable internal adversaries, you are then truly ready for the next, even greater challenge, fiercely fighting for your cherished dream when no one else, absolutely no one, believes it's possible. The lonely road of dreams, the unwavering focus you painstakingly sharpen today, is the most potent weapon that will keep you standing firmly tomorrow, especially when the world falls silent around you. When there are no claps, no accolades, and it's just you and your audacious dream. No one else truly sees the vivid vision you hold within. No one else can feel the intense fire that burns so brightly inside you. No one can possibly dream on your behalf. And most certainly, no one can fight your battles for you. This is precisely why your dream, if it truly holds significant meaning for you, will inevitably demand a lonely road. Not because you inherently crave solitude, but because, particularly in the initial stages, no one else is quite crazy enough to believe in what you believe with the same fervor. So, before anyone else recognizes your potential or acknowledges your progress, you will have to steadfastly survive the wilderness of doubt. This is a desolate landscape where every dismissive glance, every subtle insult, feels like a sharp stone hurled directly at your unwavering will. But this desolate place is also the forge, the very proving ground, as the Stoics so aptly called it. It is here that you are tested, not with the superficial comfort of applause, but with the stark realities of silence, the sting of rejection, and the raw, unadulterated strength of your own resilience. Focusing on yourself until you win is not an act of selfishness. It is, in fact, the courageous declaration of those who were once casually dismissed as delusional, because before the world finally acknowledges anyone as a visionary, it almost invariably labels them as wrong. Consider the historical precedents. No one truly believed that Thomas Edison needed more than 1,000 painstaking attempts to successfully invent the practical light bulb. But he didn't require anyone else's belief to persist. Similarly, no one could have possibly imagined that Marcus Aurelius could endure years on brutal, unforgiving battlefields and still, amidst the chaos, find the profound inner stillness to pen his Meditations, one of the most intellectually profound works of philosophy ever created. He didn't write to impress others. He wrote to remain authentically alive within himself. The battle for your dream, your deeply held vision, is fiercely fought on two distinct fronts. Externally, you will undoubtedly face skepticism, ridicule, and misunderstanding. Internally, a persistent, insidious whisper will continually ask, "Am I just making a fool of myself?" Every dismissive laugh, every moment where others seemingly pass you by as you struggle, will shake your burgeoning confidence. To its core, this is precisely when Stoicism transforms into an impenetrable armor. It doesn't gently coddle you with blind optimism or unrealistic reassurances. Instead, it unflinchingly teaches you to bravely face reality head-on. You will be rejected. You will be misunderstood. And you must unequivocally continue to move forward anyway, not because others are necessarily wrong in their perceptions, but because quitting would signify a profound betrayal of your deepest self and your cherished aspirations. As the wise Epictetus famously said, "If you want to improve, be content to be thought foolish and stupid." The more genuinely willing you are to be perceived as naive, as unconventional, the closer you unequivocally get to realizing your strongest, most authentic self. Because when you become overly reliant on the approval and validation of others, you effectively surrender the steering wheel of your own life, allowing external forces to dictate your direction. Here's a challenging truth that most people actively resist hearing. The crowd isn't necessarily wrong in their approach. They are simply engaged in a fundamentally different game, the game of safety, of predictable conformity. They subconsciously desire for you to remain precisely like them, so they can feel more secure and justified in their own life choices. When you boldly choose to change, to evolve, you inherently challenge their carefully constructed worldview, causing discomfort. But you were not born to become a comfortable, diluted version of yourself. You are here to vividly prove that something truly worthwhile, something profoundly impactful, often requires a significant investment of time, patience, and often solitude to meticulously build. Modern psychology fully supports this assertion. The social proof effect eloquently explains how individuals tend to implicitly trust what the majority has already accepted as valid or true. People often feel a greater sense of security standing in a long, predictable line, even if they have no idea where it ultimately leads, rather than bravely stepping alone into genuinely uncharted territory. Solomon Ash's classic Conformity experiment made this painfully clear. When asked to compare line lengths, most participants willingly gave the demonstrably wrong answer, despite the obvious truth staring them in the face, simply to conform to the group consensus. To avoid the discomfort of being the odd one out, people often abandon their own accurate perceptions. This is the profound trap you inevitably face when you choose to walk a solitary path, not because your path is inherently wrong, but precisely because it is different. And difference without immediate, tangible proof is often quickly labeled as a flaw or a misguided pursuit. Yet it is precisely those individuals who are perceived as flawed or out of step today who often go on to establish the groundbreaking standards of tomorrow. Notice this undeniable pattern throughout history. The more radical, the more visionary an idea, the more profound the initial resistance it invariably encounters. This is an immutable law of reality. Learn to powerfully use rejection and doubt as potent fuel for your journey. Make it a deliberate practice. Write it down. Record precisely who told you that you weren't good enough, weren't realistic enough, or that your ideas were destined to fail. Do this not out of spite or bitterness, but as a meticulous log of your endurance, a fuel journal where each dismissive word becomes a compelling, unshakable reason not to quit. Simultaneously, diligently track your daily wins, no matter how microscopically small they may seem. What did you manage to achieve despite the overwhelming doubts? How many consecutive days did you steadfastly keep your promise to yourself? What did you successfully finish that even you, at one point, profoundly doubted you could complete? Pair this practice with the concept of the cycle of proof. Dedicate 30 days to diligently build a new habit. Commit 60 days to visibly see the initial results emerge, and invest 90 days to witness a profound, undeniable transformation. No one can genuinely argue with compelling evidence. Stack up enough micro-wins, like consistently waking up on time for 30 consecutive days, completing 3 personal projects, or finishing 5 challenging books, and self-belief ceases to be a struggle. It seamlessly transforms into undeniable data. However, without a clear, deeply internalized understanding of why you started this arduous journey, you will inevitably abandon ship at the very first sign of a storm. A dream that lacks profound inner value will be swiftly washed away by early failures and setbacks. So, take a deliberate pause and ask yourself these piercing questions. Why did I truly choose this specific path? What are the profound consequences if I fail to see it through to completion? Is this dream genuinely worth the significant investment of time, energy, potential sacrifices in relationships, and relinquished comfort that it will undoubtedly demand? Every single action you undertake, learning a new skill consciously, turning down a distracting invitation, meticulously completing a challenging task, must be inextricably tied back to that deeply personal why. When your dream becomes an integral, inseparable part of your fundamental identity, you will no longer require external reminders to keep forging ahead. Stoicism does not advocate for blind optimism. Instead, it rigorously teaches brutal, unflinching clarity. You may indeed fail. You may undoubtedly get hurt. But these setbacks do not, in any way, strip your journey of its intrinsic worth or its profound meaning. The only things that are truly, completely under your control are your deliberate actions, your thoughtful responses to external events, and your unwavering commitment to your chosen path. Everything else, external praise, public recognition, financial rewards, exists entirely beyond your immediate reach. And that, paradoxically, is precisely why you don't need to relentlessly chase them. Try this simple, yet remarkably effective practice. Every single night before you retire, write down 3 specific things you did that day that unequivocally honored your dream. Even if it was something as small as politely declining a pointless social outing or spending just 30 minutes diligently learning something new and valuable. Then, write this powerful affirmative sentence: I am living in alignment with what I chose. Repeat this declaration daily. You will profoundly realize that belief isn't an innate quality. It is painstakingly built, one small deliberate act at a time. One day you will cease feeling the need to explain why you do what you do. You will stop needing to justify how hard you are striving, because you will inherently know that consistently showing up day after day, silently and relentlessly, is the loudest, most compelling answer of all. You will no longer be fighting to prove something to the outside world. You will be diligently keeping a profound promise to yourself. Think back to the last time you abandoned something out of a paralyzing fear of judgment from others. Do you regret it now? Do you ever find yourself wondering how far you might have progressed if you had simply persisted? This is precisely why you cannot afford to stop again. You owe yourself that much unwavering commitment. And if, at this very moment, you still feel a profound sense of isolation on this challenging path, know with absolute certainty that you are not, in fact, the only one. Every true pioneer, every trailblazer, must traverse that solitary stretch of wilderness. But only those who steadfastly refuse to turn back earn the profound right to be called a trailblazer, to leave a lasting mark. Stay steady, keep going, and even if no one is outwardly cheering you on, you will take that crucial next step because you deliberately chose to believe in your dream long before anyone else could even begin to perceive it. Tomorrow will inevitably bring a fresh set of challenges. You will be tempted once again to retreat to the perceived safety of your comfort zone, to wait for external permission. But instead of succumbing, you will show up not for them, not for external validation, but purely for you. And that, fundamentally, is what we will explore next. The profound act of showing up for yourself every single day, because if you won't steadfastly stand by yourself, who else possibly will? Chapter 2, The Art of Showing Up Daily Consistency over Inspiration, one of the quiet, insidious mistakes that traps countless individuals in a debilitating cycle of procrastination, pervasive confusion, and a disorienting lack of direction is the misguided, yet deeply ingrained, belief that we can only take meaningful action when we feel genuinely inspired, overtly excited, or abundantly energized. But here's a fundamental truth often overlooked. Life does not operate on fleeting inspiration. It operates on unwavering commitment, on the consistent, non-negotiable act of showing up for yourself, whether the external conditions are favorable or not, whether your mind feels messy and chaotic or calm and clear. Stoicism teaches us a powerful lesson. True victory doesn't arise from rare, fleeting moments of brilliant insight or sudden surges of motivation. Rather, it is painstakingly forged through the relentless, unconditional consistency of simply showing up day after day, regardless of your mood or circumstances. Focus on you until you win is not merely a catchy motivational slogan. It is a profound, actionable lifestyle strategy that unequivocally demands a high level of internal discipline. And the unshakable foundation of that entire strategy begins with a remarkably simple act that, surprisingly, few people consistently follow through on: showing up for yourself every single day. If you mistakenly believe that showing up necessarily means executing something grand, making dramatic changes, or achieving monumental feats, you are fundamentally missing its true, quiet power. In Stoic philosophy, showing up does not equate to always being at your absolute best or performing flawlessly. It simply means being present, engaging, and taking action, regardless of external conditions or internal resistance. This profound idea is strongly supported by contemporary behavioral science. Those who successfully maintain positive habits over extended periods are not rigid perfectionists. They are simply relentlessly consistent. A seemingly small action, writing a single line in your journal, performing just 5 minutes of exercise, or diligently learning one short segment of new information, when repeated daily, systematically builds an internal system of capability, profound self-trust, and unwavering resilience. This is the very essence of how identity-based habits effectively work. The primary goal is not to achieve immediate, dazzling results, but rather to consistently reinforce the very kind of person you are actively striving to become. The Stoics, in their wisdom, didn't extensively discuss outward achievements. They emphasized character, and character in its purest form is inextricably forged through the arduous yet immensely rewarding discipline of showing up day in and day out. Consider the Spartans, for example. Their legendary training regimens did not depend on whether they felt like it. They ran relentlessly in the morning, trained with unwavering intensity, even through driving rain. That unwavering discipline didn't just sculpt formidable bodies. It meticulously formed sharp, resilient minds, utterly unshaken by external circumstances or fleeting emotions. In today's complex world, modern warriors don't necessarily need physical armor. They might be the single mother who rises silently at 5 a.m. to diligently study before her child awakens. They could be the executive working tirelessly all day, yet still showing up faithfully at night to dedicate time to learning a valuable new skill. These are the unsung heroes who receive no public applause, no grand recognition, yet they persist with quiet determination because they profoundly know that if they don't show up for themselves, no one else can possibly do it for them. To truly transform the act of showing up into an integral part of your very identity, you need to construct a robust support system for yourself. Begin with what I call the no compromise rule. Select one small yet undeniably beneficial behavior and firmly anchor it to a fixed, non-negotiable time every single day. For instance, at 6 a.m. you will journal for precisely 10 minutes. At 9 p.m. you will turn off your phone and read for a set period. There is no rescheduling, no permissible canceling, no internal negotiations. The simpler the habit, the significantly higher your chances of consistently adhering to it. Every time you successfully complete this chosen action, make sure to check it off, either in a dedicated notebook or a habit tracking app. That check mark is far more than just a task completed. It is a solemn promise kept to yourself. Each successful check is like a meticulous stitch, repairing and strengthening the very fabric of your self-belief. Over time, you will profoundly realize that you no longer require motivation to show up. You simply need the clock. Still, there will inevitably be days when you slip, when you fall off track. This is not a catastrophic failure. It is invaluable data. Stoics do not engage in self-shame when they stumble. Instead, they pause to reflect. They ask themselves, why didn't I show up today? Was it due to fatigue, overwhelming distraction, or simply poor planning? Write it down, analyze it, and transform it into a crucial lesson learned. If you found yourself too tired to engage in a habit at night, move it to the morning. If you were constantly distracted by social media, set firm app limits or utilize website blockers. Every slip, every deviation is valuable feedback that allows you to continuously upgrade and refine your system. But above all, commit to getting back on track the very next day. One skipped day is never the end of your journey. A string of skipped days, however, is what relentlessly erodes and ultimately kills your commitment. A more advanced, yet incredibly powerful, strategy is to consciously employ the act-as-if model. This involves behaving as if you are already the person you deeply desire to become. Do you aspire to be more disciplined? Then, in every challenging situation, pause and ask yourself, what would a truly disciplined person do right now? Then proceed to do precisely that, even if you don't yet fully believe in yourself or your capabilities. Interestingly, behavioral psychology consistently demonstrates that belief often follows action, rather than preceding it. When you consistently behave like someone who embodies discipline, you gradually yet inevitably begin to truly become that disciplined person. Eventually, you are no longer merely pretending. You genuinely are that person. To put this into practice, clearly articulate the identity you aspire to live by. For example, you might write, I am someone who is consistent, who always keeps my promises to myself, and who acts deliberately every single day for my future. Then choose one or two small, daily behaviors that actively reinforce that desired identity. Each night, take time to journal, asking yourself, did I act like that person today? If not, why? If yes, how did it truly feel? This constitutes a powerful form of self-dialogue that keeps you deeply aligned with your core values and aspirations. Stoics do not teach us to strive for an unattainable perfection. They teach us to be brutally honest and profoundly truthful with ourselves. Now, it's time for practice. Tonight, before you go to bed, take out a blank sheet of paper and write this simple question. What is the one small action I will take tomorrow to show up for myself? Then, in the morning, without hesitation, simply do it, whether or not you genuinely feel like it. Check it off and make a note of how it made you feel. Repeat this cycle for 7 consecutive days. Observe with curiosity how this small, consistent practice profoundly shifts the way you perceive yourself and your capabilities. And most importantly, if you happen to miss a day, do not dwell on it. Simply return to the practice the very next day. Do not wait for a perfect moment, because every single day you show up, you send a powerful, unequivocal message to yourself. I am reliable. I will not betray myself. Every excuse, on the other hand, subtly chips away at your foundational self-belief. The insidious danger here is that you often don't perceive the accumulating cracks until the entire structure suddenly collapses. And rebuilding from that point, from total collapse, is a far more arduous task. Remember this powerful truth. You don't show up because you are already winning. You show up because you will win. This is a profoundly personal journey that no one else can undertake for you. There will be no cameras, no adoring audience, no external applause. Just you and your daily choice to rise again, to engage again, each and every single day. That is the core teaching of Stoicism. Don't chase fleeting results. Rather, focus on becoming someone worthy of them. And it all begins with one fundamental habit: showing up. Guarding your focus. Eliminating subtle distractions. Once you have mastered the crucial habit of showing up every day, you will inevitably realize that the next, more subtle danger isn't merely laziness or a simple lack of motivation. It's something far quieter, more persistent, and deeply insidious. The subtle, almost invisible distractions that relentlessly bleed away your precious focus, minute by minute, hour by hour. They don't shout for your attention. They don't grandly announce their presence. Instead, they silently, persistently eat away at your mental fortitude, much like termites slowly consuming the foundations of a house. If you fail to consciously identify and ruthlessly eliminate these insidious distractions, all the hard-earned discipline you've meticulously built will slowly but surely erode. In the next section, you will learn how to guard your focus like sacred ground, ensuring that nothing external can break your determined rise. Here's a harsh truth that very few people are truly willing to admit: the primary person sabotaging your future, undermining your progress, and holding you back is in fact you. It's not some nebulous society, not the unpredictable market, and certainly not some invisible, malevolent force. It's the tiny, insistent beeps from your devices, the mindless, endless swipes through social media feeds, the just 5 minutes on TikTok that miraculously morphs into an hour and a half of lost time. The greatest, most pervasive threat to your focus doesn't lurk in the dark shadows. It resides comfortably in your pocket, on your desk, and within your own mind whenever it habitually drifts away from what truly matters to your long-term vision. The truly frightening part isn't that you're somehow not good enough. It's the unsettling realization that you have likely never stayed genuinely focused for long enough to actually become truly great, to unlock your full potential. Marcus Aurelius, in his timeless wisdom, once wrote, "If you seek tranquility, do less. Or, more accurately, do only what is genuinely essential." This simple directive promises a double satisfaction: the profound sense of accomplishment from doing less, but doing it with exceptional quality and deeper purpose. The wisdom embedded in this statement is deceptively simple, yet if truly and consistently applied, it possesses the transformative power to eliminate a staggering 80% of the persistent distractions that are currently devouring your life. Take a brutally honest, hard look at your typical day. How many minutes, how many hours are routinely lost to mindless scrolling simply because there seems to be nothing else to do? How many times have you genuinely intended to write that important document, read that insightful book, or build something truly meaningful, only to be inexorably pulled into the black hole of incessant notifications, trivial messages, sensationalized news, and empty small talk. If every hour you lost to distraction were a brick in the house of your dreams, by year's end, would you be actively building it or inadvertently tearing it down? Your magnificent brain was simply not designed to juggle dozens of competing stimuli simultaneously. According to rigorous research conducted at Stanford, when we attempt to multitask, or more accurately, constantly switch rapidly between multiple tasks, our cognitive performance plummets by an astonishing 40%. This isn't multitasking. It is, in effect, intentional chaos. You might delude yourself into believing you're accomplishing more, but in harsh reality, you are performing everything poorly. It's akin to a warrior attempting to fire multiple arrows at once with a single bow. None will hit their intended mark with precision. To strike true, to achieve impact, you must steady your hand, fix your gaze, and meticulously aim at one singular target at a time. The ultimate solution isn't about doing more. It's about ruthlessly eliminating everything that does not directly align with your core mission. Begin by clearing your internal and external battlefield. No warrior fights effectively in a swamp of clutter. Start with the tangible basics: a meticulously clean workspace, a phone with all non-essential notifications disabled, and a digital screen purged of addictive applications. But this is merely the surface-level work. The deeper, more insidious mess lies within your own mind. This internal clutter includes unresolved conversations, gnawing anxieties about an uncertain future, and the heavy guilt of unfinished plans. Systematically write it all down. The very act of naming something, of articulating it clearly, diminishes its suffocating grip on you. Write not to solve, but to understand. Then, with a discerning eye, cross out everything that doesn't genuinely matter. This is the profound mental decluttering that top entrepreneurs and highly effective individuals quietly practice every single morning. Next, you must strategically carve out an inviolable zone, a dedicated block of time each day when absolutely nothing and no one can interrupt you. Begin with a 25-minute Pomodoro session, or extend it to 45 minutes if you feel up to the challenge. Do not wait for a surge of inspiration. Do not idly wait until you feel in the mood. Just begin. Many classic, enduring books were penned by authors who devoted a mere 1 to 2 hours of deeply focused work to their mornings, nothing more. What truly matters is not the sheer quantity of hours you work, but the unwavering consistency with which you show up for those focused sessions. One deep focus session per day significantly outperforms 8 hours of distracted, fragmented effort. Treat this sacred time like a profound ritual, akin to a warrior meticulously sharpening their blade before a crucial battle. No interruptions, no incoming messages, no just one more video. Here's the difficult truth most people actively avoid confronting. You don't actually need more knowledge. You need to consistently act on the valuable insights you already possess. In the vast majority of cases, the core problem isn't a lack of information or understanding. It is the pervasive tendency to surrender to fleeting temptation. The external world hasn't beaten you. You, through a series of small, unchecked choices, have inadvertently beaten yourself. Each time you chose immediate comfort over disciplined effort, You likely swore to yourself that you would change, that you would finally start that project, finish that book, begin that training regimen, or diligently learn that new skill. But then came one distracting video, one trivial message, one unimportant email, and another precious day silently slipped away. The real cost here isn't merely lost time. It is the better, stronger version of yourself that never quite got built. That never truly had the chance to emerge. In a recent letter to shareholders, J.P. Morgan Chase CEO Jamie Dimon bluntly and powerfully criticized pervasive workplace distraction, stating it's disrespectful. I see people in meetings reading their mail and getting notifications. This has to stop. This isn't just about adhering to professional etiquette. It is a clear, unequivocal declaration that profound focus is a non-negotiable standard for meaningful work and impactful living. Truly successful individuals do not possess mystical superpowers. They have simply mastered a rare yet incredibly powerful skill, the profound ability to sit still, eliminate distractions, and fully engage with what truly matters, undistracted. That singular ability, in a perpetually noisy world, makes all the difference. In a world saturated with external clamor, internal silence becomes a profound source of strength. In a world addicted to constant pings and notifications, unwavering discipline is an ultimate superpower. Chapter 3. Embracing resilience and gratitude. Rising stronger. The power of intentional living. Some wounds, though invisible, don't bleed, but still manage to drain every ounce of your strength. There are internal collapses that no one else can see. No outward tears, no dramatic outcry, just a quiet, insidious emptiness that slips silently into your chest. You don't fall apart dramatically. You fall in the most ordinary, mundane ways. You simply don't want to get out of bed. You lack the will to open your laptop. You lose the desire to engage with the very things that once ignited your excitement. Perhaps it happens after a significant project you poured your heart into, only to watch it fall agonizingly short of its intended mark. Maybe it's after days, even weeks, of bracing yourself, trying to appear strong for others, only to come home and feel utterly hollowed out. Or perhaps, most unsettlingly, there's no clear, discernible reason at all. You just don't feel like yourself anymore. And when someone with genuine concern asks, "Are you okay?" you're not even sure how to honestly answer. Stoics do not judge you for these moments of profound vulnerability. They do not expect you to be endlessly resilient, an unyielding rock impervious to all emotional shifts. What they unequivocally state is this: you have every right to fall, to experience those moments of despair, but you must never allow the fall itself to define who you are. The fundamental problem was never the fall itself. The real defining question is, what will you courageously choose to do next? Will you remain prostrate, allowing life to relentlessly move on without you? Or will you rise again, even with shaky knees and a heavy heart? There's a crucial truth that we, in our modern sensibilities, often forget. Profound crisis is not only born from outright failure, but also from drifting, from moving through life without a clear sense of direction or purpose. Rising up isn't merely about bouncing back to your previous state. Sometimes it's about a deeper recalibration, a deliberate process of regaining your inner strength and profoundly reconnecting with the core of who you truly are. The Stoics called this intentional living, consciously choosing not to allow fleeting emotions, unpredictable circumstances, or the shifting tides of public opinion to dictate who you are or how you respond. But this profound choice is rarely easy. The human brain is instinctively wired to lean towards the path of least pain, and getting up, especially after a significant fall, hurts. This is precisely why many individuals choose to remain in their comfort zones, enveloped in numbness, content with faded versions of who they once were. They might rationalize, "I just need more time." But what is truly happening is a slow, insidious erosion of their willpower, and often they don't even consciously notice it until it's too late. So, how do you decisively break free from that debilitating cycle? First, you must bravely name your fall for precisely what it is. Some individuals fall from sheer exhaustion, and their primary need is profound rest and recuperation. Others fall due to overwhelming distraction, requiring a rigorous cleansing of their environment and mental space. Still others fall from a lack of clear planning, needing to map out their steps with greater precision. Identify the root cause and then address it directly, without judgment. Choosing relationships that fuel you once you've diligently learned how to show up consistently every day, you'll uncover another quiet challenge that often catches people off guard. It's not laziness or a lack of motivation, but the subtle, persistent distractions that steadily bleed away your focus. These don't announce themselves loudly. They quietly erode your inner resilience like termites. If you don't actively identify and eliminate them, all the discipline you've built will slowly diminish. This is why choosing meaningful, supportive relationships is crucial. True personal growth isn't a solitary endeavor. It evolves into collective strength, where individuals lift each other up, and no one has to fight alone. As you grow stronger and begin raising your own standards, pushing yourself harder, turning down shallow connections and empty conversations, you might notice that people who once felt close now seem distant. It's not that they've changed. You have, and this shift is something few are truly prepared for. If you're committed to staying focused and winning, you must learn to choose your companions wisely. Not so they can constantly lift you up, but so they don't inadvertently drag you down. Not for you to lean on, but to share mutual responsibility with. The Stoics taught that we cannot master our own lives if we allow the wrong relationships to hijack our emotions, time, and energy. A Stoic doesn't hate the world or avoid people. They simply choose their associations carefully, because everything you allow into your mind leaves an undeniable mark. A toxic conversation can drain your entire day. A perpetually negative friend can throw your actions off course for weeks. Stoicism teaches that the wise don't seek crowds to avoid loneliness. They learn how to be alone without feeling lonely. From this place of internal stability, they then build connections that are genuinely real and valuable. A truly good relationship isn't just about comfort. It's a powerful catalyst for growth. In your brain, the amygdala, your emotional command center, activates in response to rejection, exclusion, or the feeling of not fitting in. This is precisely why we sometimes cling to relationships that we instinctively know are weakening us. So if you find yourself feeling guilty for declining an invitation, hesitant when someone calls you different, or haunted by what others think of you, it's not a flaw. It's simply your ancient brain doing its evolutionary job, seeking belonging. But if you don't consciously choose where you belong, you will be passively pulled into any space that happens to be open. Modern psychology calls this emotional contagion. Our brains subconsciously mimic the emotional state of those around us, particularly in familiar environments. An anxious person can make it incredibly difficult for you to remain calm. A chronic complainer can make gratitude feel distant and unobtainable. A lazy friend group can make discipline seem odd or unusual. But the powerful reverse is also true. Surround yourself with individuals who embody strong values, who are not swayed by idle gossip, and who consistently choose action over excuses, and you will almost certainly become more like them. Personal growth is not a solo game. It is a profound byproduct of the environment you deliberately design for yourself. In elite military units, like the Navy SEALs, teammates are chosen with the precision of an architect selecting the foundation for a skyscraper. One weak link can cost lives. They don't need teammates who are merely easy to get along with. They need individuals they can profoundly trust. People who will call you out honestly when you slip, who will catch you when you fall, who won't leave you behind, but also won't allow you to quit on yourself. The strongest units don't survive because they're the toughest. They endure because they are the most united. And that deep bond isn't forged in moments of comfort, but through shared hardship and mutual commitment. In business, the principle is no different. A founder might possess a brilliant idea, endless capital, and elite communication skills, but if they choose the wrong partner, failure is almost guaranteed. One of the top reasons startups collapse isn't market conditions. It's often internal conflict and misaligned relationships. Stoicism reminds you to only cultivate relationships with people you genuinely respect, not just for their talents, but for how they honor their commitments and consistently live their values. But in everyday life, how do you truly know who to keep in your inner circle and who to gracefully let go? One simple, yet remarkably effective tool is the weight matrix, which measures two crucial axes, emotion and behavior. For 1 week, meticulously track each interaction you have. Ask yourself, how did this person make me feel, positive or negative? And did their actions or words push me to be better? Or did they subtly pull me into stagnation? Over time, you will begin to perceive that some relationships persist purely out of ingrained habit, no longer serving any real value or purpose in your life. Others, though perhaps newer, might unlock parts of you that you've never explored or expressed. That's when it's time to choose, not based on fleeting emotion, but on clear direction and alignment with your purpose. Another powerful strategy is the symmetry principle. Whatever you genuinely expect from others, be willing to generously give first. Want someone to steadfastly support you after a painful failure? Be the very first person to stand by them when they are hurting. Want unwavering honesty? Start by being honest yourself, even when it feels uncomfortable or challenging. This kind of reflection isn't just ethically sound, it is strategically brilliant. Stoicism teaches that strong, resilient relationships require both sides to be willing to unflinchingly face the truth, even when it stings or demands discomfort. And if you find yourself surrounded by half-hearted, lukewarm connections, do not panic. Most of us navigate through such phases at some point. The goal isn't to burn everything down indiscriminately. It's to realign with intention. Like cleaning a cluttered room, you don't throw everything out. You keep what genuinely matters, gracefully let go of what no longer serves you, and thoughtfully reorganize what remains with a clearer, renewed purpose. From that refined vantage point, deliberately redesign your social space. Reconsider who you choose to spend your most valuable time with. Actively seek out those who genuinely share your core values through books, podcasts, online communities, or in-person classes. You are not alone on this journey. You are simply in the profound process of recalibrating your connections so you can attract and find the right people. A person who is truly focused on themselves isn't isolating. They are discerning. They deeply understand the profound value of quiet reflection, of quality time, and of honest, constructive feedback. They do not connect with others to fill an internal void. They connect to genuinely amplify their own growth and the growth of those around them. They don't seek out clones of themselves. They seek individuals who will genuinely challenge them to grow beyond their current limits. When you've meticulously built a healthy circle, not necessarily a large one, but one that is deeply aligned with your values, you will powerfully notice a significant shift in your momentum. No more wasted energy on petty drama. No more self-doubt triggered by offhand, thoughtless comments. No more paralyzing procrastination stemming from a lack of internal drive. When you are genuinely surrounded by individuals who are also committed to building their strongest selves, you will intimately understand what true synergy feels like. 1 + 1 can indeed equal 3. Especially when you are all moving with unified purpose in the same profound direction. Eventually, you will come to the mature realization that not every relationship is meant to last forever. Some individuals appear in your life to teach you a crucial lesson, to remind you of a forgotten truth, and then they gracefully move on. Your responsibility isn't to cling to every connection, but to embrace the lessons each one brings and allow yourself to evolve. Conclusion: living with gratitude and becoming the light. Ultimately, the journey of focusing on yourself until you win culminates in a profound internal shift. Responsibility no longer feels like a heavy burden. It transforms into your greatest edge. This is because you no longer passively wait for others to do right by you. Instead, you actively focus on consistently doing right by yourself. You are no longer tossed haphazardly by life's unpredictable waves. You are confidently steering your own ship, charting your own course. Take a moment right now to truly reflect. What fundamental truths have you deeply learned throughout this process? Perhaps that blame is, at its core, a cunning form of escape. That genuine ownership isn't merely a behavior, but a deeply ingrained mindset. That true, lasting control originates from within, from how you consciously choose to think, how you thoughtfully choose to respond, and how you decisively choose to move forward, regardless of external circumstances. You now possess the essential tools: the courage to question your own assumptions, the strength to transform excuses into decisive action, and the clarity to utilize the powerful control matrix. You've explored tangible examples from battlefields, from boardrooms, and most importantly, from the intricate tapestry of your own lived experience. But the journey, like life itself, does not abruptly end here. There will inevitably be days when, even with a profound sense of ownership, your belief in yourself wavers. There will be moments when your spirit feels heavy, when you question if it's all truly worth the persistent effort, especially when tangible results have yet to materialize. In those moments of quiet struggle, learn to trust the intrinsic process. Trust it not because outcomes are guaranteed, for nothing in life is, but because you desperately need something unshakable to keep you from losing yourself along the way. That is the next profound Stoic lesson. Cultivate an unwavering belief in your chosen path. Even when the visible results are still invisible to the eye, there is no truly worthy road that does not, at some point, traverse through periods of darkness, through stretches of doubt and struggle. But if you can steadfastly hold on to the inner light of your purpose and commitment, you will be the last one standing, the one who perseveres. And that, unequivocally, is when you have truly won. There's a peculiar phenomenon in human psychology. When we don't observe immediate, tangible results, we instinctively begin to doubt everything. Our meticulously crafted plans, our inherent abilities, and even our very selves. Many individuals give up on their aspirations not because they lack passion or energy, but because they lack the profound patience required for the process to unfold. They take action for a brief period, perceive no immediate change, and then hastily conclude that this path simply isn't meant for them. But the Stoics, with their timeless wisdom, teach us that what is most valuable, most profound, rarely manifests itself right away. Consider the humble bamboo plant. It dedicates 5 arduous years to growing a deep, complex root system underground, almost invisibly, before suddenly shooting up dozens of feet in mere weeks. Life, like the bamboo, moves in quiet, often unseen, cycles. If you lack the unwavering faith to consistently stay the course, you will tragically never witness the profound miracle that patiently awaits at the end of your dedicated journey. At the inception of any significant endeavor, starting a new business, writing a deeply personal book, embarking on a weight-loss journey, or diligently learning a complex skill, initial progress is often minimal, even entirely invisible. Neuroscience confirms this. It takes a minimum of 21 days for new thought patterns and habits to even begin forming, and often months before they clearly manifest in observable behavior. The human brain is an incredibly complex organ, and its neural pathways must be systematically reprogrammed through consistent, disciplined repetition. Not seeing immediate results is entirely normal. It is part of the process. Stoicism powerfully reminds us that in these moments of invisible progress, we must not measure the value of our actions by their immediate external reward. Instead, we must measure them by their inherent integrity, by their alignment with our deepest values. You do the right thing, you take the right action, simply because it is the right thing to do, not because it promises an instant payoff. Picture yourself as a diligent farmer meticulously planting seeds. You carefully prepare the soil, you consistently water it, you tirelessly pull weeds, and you thoughtfully add fertilizer. And for a long, seemingly uneventful time, absolutely nothing. breaks the surface of the earth. An impatient farmer would give up, deeming the effort fruitless. A truly wise farmer, however, intrinsically knows that vital roots are diligently growing underground, and that everything is working precisely as it should. Take the remarkable example of James Dyson. He famously failed over 5,000 times in his tireless attempts to invent the bagless vacuum cleaner. But he never quit, because each perceived failure was, in his mind, simply another valuable improvement to the ongoing process. There is no truly successful version of any significant endeavor that does not first pass through a prolonged, often challenging, invisible stage. Just as a martial artist doesn't become truly strong after a few training sessions, but only after falling and getting up thousands of times, a Stoic must learn to steadfastly keep going, even when no one else can visibly perceive the results of their dedicated effort. So how do you sustain your momentum when your mind begins to drift, when insidious doubts inevitably creep in, and when your emotions desperately beg you to stop? You need a clear, actionable toolkit. First, meticulously track your daily effort, not just your results. Focus on your consistent presence, your dedication. Regularly check in with your energy levels, both physical and mental. Recognize when you're simply running on fumes and proactively plan for periods of genuine rest and recovery. This isn't weakness. It's strategic self-care, a vital component of sustainable discipline. Cultivating gratitude for the journey to truly simplify your life. Commit to one small, consistent act each night, like cleaning one corner of your desk. Small acts, when performed with big commitment, become powerful anchors in your day. Wordless reminders that steadfastly declare, I am still moving forward even if others around me have chosen to quit. You will get tired. Perhaps it's month 4 and still no clear results. Maybe someone you deeply love says something that cuts painfully deep. Perhaps you simply feel invisible, your efforts unnoticed. But in those precise, challenging moments, your profound vision must be larger, more compelling than your fleeting feelings. You don't need to feel good to take action. You need to take consistent action to firmly hold on to what truly matters to you. A soldier once shared that during years of brutal fighting in an unknown land, he wrote the same powerful line in his journal every single morning. Today, I still honor my oath. He wrote it not for others to read, but solely to remind himself of his unwavering commitment. That is what living with profound vision looks like. You don't idly wait for life to reward you. You live as if the victory is already undeniably yours, and only time has yet to catch up. And if you have persevered this far, it's highly probable that there is a deep, unlived vision within you, yearning for expression. Do not allow another week to pass by without taking tangible steps closer to realizing it. Start with the simplest thing imaginable. Write down with crystal clarity what you are willing to protect no matter what. Post it prominently on your wall. Read it aloud every single morning. Pick one small, consistent action to repeat every day, and intentionally reserve one weekend night to conduct a deep, honest check-in with yourself. No one needs to discipline you, because you are now living for something profoundly higher, your own unwavering integrity. Holding on to your vision isn't a momentary burst of inspiration. It is grit meticulously built slowly but surely, through 1,000 small, correct choices made in the face of tempting wrong ones. And yes, even if you hold on for a considerable time, there will undoubtedly be days when you stumble, when you fall, or when you feel completely, utterly lost. But what profoundly sets you apart isn't whether you fall. It's whether you possess the courage, the internal fortitude to rise again, even when no one is watching, no one is cheering, and no one is there to applaud your resilience. That is the true measure of a stoic heart. Some wounds don't bleed externally, but they still manage to drain every bit of your inner strength. There are deep collapses that no one else ever sees, no dramatic tears, no desperate outcry, just a quiet, pervasive emptiness that silently slips into your chest. You don't fall apart dramatically. You fall in the most ordinary ways. You don't want to get out of bed. You don't want to open your laptop. You don't want to do the things that once genuinely excited you. Perhaps it's after a project you poured your entire heart into, only to watch it fall short of expectations. Maybe it's after days of bracing yourself to be strong for others, only to come home and feel utterly hollow. Or perhaps, most perplexingly, there's no clear reason at all. You just don't feel like yourself anymore. And when someone asks, "Are you okay?" you're not even sure how to honestly articulate the answer. Stoics do not judge you for these moments of profound vulnerability. They do not expect you to be endlessly resilient, an unyielding pillar. What they offer is this unwavering truth: you have every right to fall, to experience those moments of despair, but you must never allow that fall to define who you are. The fundamental problem was never the fall itself. The real defining question is, what will you choose to do next? Will you stay down, allowing life to move on without you? Or will you rise, even with shaky knees and a heavy heart, and continue forward? There's a crucial truth we often forget in our modern, fast-paced world. Crisis isn't solely born from outright failure. It also emerges from drifting, from moving through life without a clear sense of direction or profound purpose. Rising up isn't merely about bouncing back to your previous state. Sometimes it's about a deeper recalibration, a deliberate process of regaining your inner strength and profoundly reconnecting with the authentic core of who you are. The Stoics called this intentional living, consciously choosing not to allow fleeting emotions, unpredictable circumstances, or the shifting tides of public opinion to dictate who you are. But this profound choice is rarely easy. The human brain is instinctively wired to lean towards the path of least pain, and getting up, especially after a significant fall, truly hurts. This is precisely why many individuals choose to remain in their comfort zones, enveloped in numbness, content with faded versions of who they once were. They might rationalize, "I just need more time." But what is truly happening is a slow, insidious erosion of their willpower, and often they don't even consciously notice it until it's too late. The power of gratitude. Cultivating gratitude is another powerful Stoic practice. It teaches you to see life through a lens of appreciation, not because everything is always easy, but because you are alive and capable of growth, even if that growth feels slow. When you practice gratitude, you shift your focus from what's lacking to what you already possess. This perspective fuels your resilience and reminds you of the inner resources you have to rise again, and one day, quietly without any fanfare, you will suddenly notice that you have fundamentally changed. There will be no grand declarations, no spotlight, no public unveiling. You will simply be living your life with authenticity and integrity. And somehow, in a way you never intended, that quiet transformation will begin to profoundly reach others. They will perceive something in you that they too have longed for, a sense of groundedness, unwavering honesty, and crystal clear clarity. You won't need to consciously inspire them. You will be the inspiration, silently, powerfully, unmistakably. Your next step with StoicCraft, if any of this message resonated with you, made you pause, think differently about your path, or simply feel seen in your quiet struggles, we invite you to take a moment to engage with our channel. It's more than just a button. It's a quiet message back to us. I'm still on the path, and I'm committed to my growth. At StoicCraft, we believe in providing practical wisdom for navigating the complexities of modern life. We offer a community and resources dedicated to helping you cultivate focus, build discipline, live authentically, and pursue daily growth in the spirit of Stoicism. Ready to walk this journey of unshakable focus, consistent discipline, and authentic daily growth? Subscribe to StoicCraft. Join our community for regular insights, practical strategies, and a path toward becoming your strongest self. Click the subscribe button and turn on notifications so you don't miss our weekly lessons. Share your thoughts. Leave a comment below. What resonated most with you today? What's one small action you're committing to taking this week to focus on yourself? Your insights enrich our collective journey. Remember, you are not alone on this path, and you are undeniably on the right track. Thank you for staying until the very end. This road is long. It demands perseverance, but if you stay focused and true to your inner compass, you will, without a doubt, become the quiet light others instinctively look for when they enter their own periods of darkness. Let StoicCraft be your companion on this incredible journey.